What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Shop Talk Tuesday live. Man, I am looking like look at my hair and my beard. Wow, it's funny. I look like I've been working because I have been. DK, what's going on? Hey guys, let me know where you're chiming in from. It's good to see you. How's it going, Jeremy? So, guys, this is going to be a short stream tonight. If you have any questions, feel free to just ask away. But I just wanted to go over a few things this evening on our Shop Talk Tuesday. What's going on, Renee Porter? Hey, Mom. And DK's up here in Massachusetts. So, a few things I got going on this evening. One, if you guys want to check it out, we have, if you remember the big slabs of white oak that have been in the background of some of the videos we've been doing, finally built the form today. So we got the wood prepped and we got the form built. So we'll be coming out with a video, the very next video coming up in the next couple of days. We're going to go over all the step-by-step how to build a form and how to prep the lumber and stuff like that. So this table is going to be 9 feet by 4 feet. So it should be really interesting. James Taylor says, "What's up, Nate? Buffalo, New York. How's it going, James?" So I'm really excited to get this white oak table finished because, going because it's going to be really fun. We're going to do. We have some pigments that just came in. I need to run out to the mailbox and grab them, but you guys will see in the next video those pigments. They're not my pigments. It's a dye. So obviously you know the dye. So we'll be using that. John Hanser says, "Hey Nathan, how are you doing?" John, I'm doing great. A little tired, but I've been working hard to get you guys some content. DK says, "I like how you're mixing the videos up with the ring vid." Hey DK, I appreciate that. Thank you for saying that. That video didn't do so well, but I appreciate it because I'll be throwing some things up there for you guys who watch even the smaller videos. So thanks, man. Joshua says, "Houston, Texas." What's up, Josh? Jeremy said, "Did your boss officially turn the shop into a woodworking shop?" No, but he did allow me to work there. So he actually came up to me today and was like, "You're not working on my time, are you?" No, would never do that. So he's a cool guy, best guy I've ever worked for. Lost Sailor says, "Hey now, brother man, what's up, Lost Sailor? How you doing?" So we have that huge dining table coming up. We have another smaller desk coming out too. It's we have some black cherry. That's what I'm calling it, but it's a slab of cherry. We're gonna do a black river, but it's for a computer desk. So that's coming up right after this dining table. Then we have a podcast table coming up too after that. So that'd be the third big table. This table is really big. If you guys have gone over to my Instagram at Goodview Woodworks, you'll see that big burl slab that we're going to be doing the podcast table out of. That's going to be a cool one too. Nathan says, "How are you going to fit that table through the door?" Hey, Nathan, what's up, man? So obviously we'll just have to turn it sideways, carry it in. It's going to be really heavy, so I might have to get a couple of guys help. John Hands says, "Just saw that oak slab on Instagram. Wowzer, that is enormous." Yeah, it is huge. It's really big, and I'm really excited. This is probably the biggest table I've done to date. It's going to take about 18 gallons of epoxy to fill it. So we may have to do a couple of pours depending on the temperature inside the shop. Wannabe Woodworker says, "What's up, Nathan? Can't wait for the upcoming tables, bro." Hey, I appreciate that. Troy says, "I hope I didn't bother you too much today. My bad." Hey, Troy, not at all. That's why I do this, is to help you guys out as much as possible. Nathan says you're going to build a house around the table. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the table, the house is already built. So, but no, I think it'll go in pretty easily. Well, with help. I might have to get some dollies or something. Joshua says, I just left the shop because got aggravated. Small top pour had 2 little bubbles, so I hit it with the heat gun and then made 1,000 bubbles come out. Did I heat it up too much? Josh, yes. Yep, heat is the cause of bubbles. And more than likely, so obviously wood has moisture in it. When you heat it up, the moisture wants to come out. So if you get it too hot, the moisture will then seep out into the epoxy. However, I don't know which epoxy you got, but if it's a slow set, they might all rise to the top and pop anyways. So you might be okay there. As long as they move to the surface, even if they don't fully pop, if they're at the surface, you're good because you're going to usually what I do is I plane it down anyway and it gets rid of those. So, DK, is there any way for me to dry a freshly cut live edge other than time at home? Yes, there are a few ways. You can build a small, like I don't know how big the slab is, but you could build a small box and heat it with like an electric heater or something and a fan, and you can essentially make your own kiln. That'd be another way to do it too. Lost Sailor says, is it better to use a torch or a heat gun? Hey, Lost Sailor, great question, but that's a two-sided coin. A heat gun works really well because you can get closer to the bubbles, like to the epoxy without burning it, but the torch pops them better. Like it pops them almost immediately. The problem is you can also burn the epoxy. So I like to use a torch and a heat gun, but I use the heat gun more than I use the torch. Great question. Nathan McCarr is right too, though. The heat gun is much cheaper than with the torch because when you do get a torch, you want to get the one that you're able to tip upside down without going out. Smart Coupon says, you're an inspiration. Thanks. I decided to take on my first project, kitchen remodel with 100% river pour, countertops, and island. I love to jump into projects, but I felt ready after hundreds of hours of you. Hey, Smart Coupons, thanks so much. I really appreciate the encouragement. Jeremy says, DK, look up videos on dehumidifier kilns. Yeah, that's great. They work really well. The trick is, though, you don't want to have it too hot. I would say in the neighborhood of 150 degrees Fahrenheit, because if you cure it too quick, or excuse me, if you dry it too quickly, you'll have a lot more movement in the wood, so twisting and all that stuff. DK says the slab is 3 feet by 1.5 for a table runner. Yeah, I think I'm a large container with a heater. Maybe weigh it down so it doesn't work exactly. Yep, exactly right. It's going to shrink, but we don't want it to twist or bow or cup, anything like that. So hopefully I answered your question. So guys, I'm going to be coming out with a poll here soon, but just remember that this weekend, the 3rd of July, so that is coming up. Everything has to be in for the Cheapskate Challenge by midnight Thursday, or by midnight on the 3rd, July 3rd, and that way I have time to go over all the entries, and we will post a poll, and so you guys get to choose the winner of the Cheapskate Challenge. Wannabe Woodworker says, live edge question as well. Is 24% moisture meter reading too high to use for the river table? I like the idea from Jeremy for drying as well. Thanks. Yes, 24 is way too high. I would say anything below 12 would be good. Some people go as high as 14, but lower the better, but 12 and below is usable. Renee Porter says, smart coupons, please post picture of your project on the community tab. Would love to see it. Renee has a good idea. I don't know if you guys can actually post pictures on the community tab, but you can go over to Facebook to the Goodview Woodworks community group, and you can post pictures there as well. Jamie says, how many submissions have you gotten so far for the Cheapskate Challenge? Low or awesome numbers? That's a good question. So far, it's actually been low, just a couple of them, just a couple of entries. Jennifer says, hey, Nathan and good viewers, what is up, Jennifer? Hey, Jennifer, thanks for always showing up on our live stream on Tuesday. I really appreciate that. She's an OG, has been here since the beginning. Yeah, so the Cheapskate Challenge, it's coming up. It'll be over on the 3rd, and I'll do my best to get the entries up as soon as possible. And then we'll be sending out your choice. It'll be whoever wins. Their choice will be either a T-shirt or pigments, and we'll get that sent out to you as soon as possible. So I'm excited to see your projects and everything. So we only have a few more days, but I think it's going to be cool. And we'll continue to do projects and things like that as well. So I did have another question. I want you guys to be honest with me on this one. As far as our Shop Talk Tuesdays, what are some ways that you guys would like for it to improve? You know, I sit here and talk behind the camera, but I want it to be interesting to you guys as well. So any tips or anything that you would like to see different on here? I'm trying to upgrade some of my cameras and things like that so we can do projects as on Shop Talk Tuesday as well. But guys, let me know what you think. What were some ways that I can improve, and what would you like to see during a live stream? Troy says, any other very southern states have problem with the humidity with their projects? Troy, so humidity is a factor, but it's not a big factor from what I can tell. It's the temperature that is the biggest one. So that's a good question, but I would do my best. If you're going to pour anything over an inch thick, then you need to have fans on top of it. So Mr. Schwal says, will using a silicone mold release spray in addition to the sheathing tape allow you to get more uses out of a mold? Yeah, I would assume so. It'd probably pop off easier without pulling the tape up. So yeah, I think it probably would. Nathan says, do a backflip. Yeah, I wish I could do a backflip. Chad says, sorry I'm late. No problem, Chad. Jay Thomas says, do a live epoxy pour on your live stream. Okay, yeah. Once I get set up, I would love to do that. That's kind of where I wanted it to go, but obviously we'll start doing some small ones, and I could probably use my office right here as long as I lay some stuff down. Jennifer says, my pleasure too. I got some of the new epoxy you're using now today and pigments from you. I'm getting closer to actually doing a project. That's awesome, Jennifer. Hey, make sure that you post pictures and stuff. Well, I'd like to see it. Vincent Logan says, I'm new to this and I'm just learning. I really like your videos. They're very informative. Hey, Vincent, I appreciate that. Nathan says, good idea, Jay, about doing a live epoxy pour. Auto Awesome says, I just got here. What's up, Auto Awesome? Jamie says, add a small tip, even as a reminder, like tip time, or maybe share some of your favorite community shares. Okay, Jamie, thank you for that suggestion. I really do appreciate that. I could totally do that. Troy says, Nick Sean says, Nate Diggity. What's up, Nick? Troy says, okay, as far as what to do for your live questions, wear an LSU hat. Go Tigers. DK says, maybe during Shop Talk Tuesday, a demonstration of maybe how to correct some common issues. Okay, I'm definitely going to be taking all these down. I appreciate that. Smart Coupon says, I would love a live on what not to do. I have learned plenty of things the hard way Would love to learn what not to do before I do it. Smart coupons. If you could just go back to my videos, you'll see on what not to do because I've done all the not to do's. Almost. Oh man. Yeah, DK says some live action. LL. Yeah, for sure. I know that. I know I have to do that. I just wanted to see what you guys wanted specifically. So maybe what we'll do. I do have another small charcuterie board project where we'll do some multiple colors at once, and maybe I'll do that on a live stream. I'll get it set up in here so you guys can see. My GoPro does live streams as well, so hopefully I can have a couple of cameras so you guys can see a couple of different views too. August says, I'm a newbie as well, and watching your videos makes the process less intimidating. You explain well and show how to do it without massive, crazy equipment. August, yeah, that's my goal is to show you that obviously big equipment helps, but it's not necessary. You could, with a little bit more work and a little bit more how-to, like know-how, you can do it as well. John says, I made a big mistake with my final seal coat 2 days ago. Wiped off the drips from underneath, but didn't recheck it the next day, and I had drips underneath and had to resand it. Been there. Yeah, I usually wait. It depends on what type of epoxy. If you're using the Incredible Solutions, I wait about 12 hours or so and then wipe it, and it'll wipe off clean. It'll still be soft, obviously. It'd be more like honey, but it won't drip anymore. Jay Thomas says, I've considered doing an electric wood burn on a slab. Any experience? What are your thoughts on epoxy filling the burn patterns? Not in Virginia at the moment, but would love to share. So Jay, great question. I have very little experience when it comes to like the wood burning and stuff like that. But there is a guy at my work that has one, and we're going to be doing another project here soon. So we're actually going to be using it to pour. What I do know is if you were to char it real deeply, you want to get rid of the charred stuff. You want to scrape it out with a wire brush or something like that, because you'll get a lot of bubbles in there if you don't. So you want to clean it out, and then you'll be able to pour through it. So great question. Nick says, any progress on the HDB pour table? No, not yet. But I will be building one of those soon, and I'll be showing all the stuff on that too. Robbie says, any updates on you offering a Goodview Woodworks branded epoxy? Yes. However, I did want to tell you guys that that the epoxy, logistically speaking, I am not there yet with being able to logistically handle having my own brand. However, I am going to be working with Incredible Solutions, and we're going to be coming out with a Goodview Woodworks edition of their epoxy, of the Incredible Solutions epoxy, because I really like that epoxy. So we're going to be working together to kind of have a Goodview Woodworks edition of that. So that's the latest update. We're obviously going to still work towards eventually having my own branded epoxy, but I'm just not there yet. You know, I'm still a little too. My operation is still a little too small, and me working with, working full time and this, it's a little hard to also come out with my epoxy. So I have been considering it. We're working towards it, but man, it's just a lot more into it than than I expected. So I appreciate the question, and as long as you stay in there, we'll eventually have our own too. Hey, Jennifer, I didn't mean to miss your question. Jennifer says, as a viewer and crafter, maker, I do appreciate the fails as well, like your new ring video. Nice save. I appreciate that. Thank you. Who's does that say S7? Who's S7 says, have you ever tried Odie's oil? I've seen vids where they wipe it on, and some where they buff it on. Yes, I have used Odie's oil, and so it calls to wipe it on, but I have found that the best method is to use a non-abrasive white Scotch-Brite pad. So the white Scotch-Brite pads are called the non-abrasive pads, and it's better to wipe it on, and then you could use a palm sander and just put it right on the pad. But to buff it in with your orbital sander or buffer is better, to buff it in that way, then wipe the excess off. Chad hit me up with a couple of bucks. I appreciate that, Chad. Thanks for the super chat, guys. Chad, thank you to Chad, guys. He just supported this channel, and I really appreciate the support. Thanks a lot. I like the Fox sticker as well. DK says, working full time and running all this, I don't envy you. Yeah, it is crazy at times, but having a loving wife that I do, even though she is pregnant and taking care of our daughter at the same time, she is just great, just being there for me and working with me on this adventure and building a business and all those things. So she's really helping me with this too. So give shout out to Aaron Porter. Nathan says, what about some collabs like with Blacktail Studios and other small YouTubers? Nathan, hey man, I've actually reached out to them. I have reached out to Blacktail Studios, and he was open, but then I don't blame him. He said he was busy, so he might be open in the future, but he was open to it, and then kind of said that he was kind of busy. So I have reached out to a few people here and there, and I've stopped reaching out because getting a bunch of no's, but that's okay. Maybe later on. Appreciate that question though, Nathan. Chad says, all good, bro. Love your work. Once again, Chad, I really appreciate it. Mel says, funny story. Bought some plywood today for a workbench I'm making. Couldn't fit it in my car. Had to ask a stranger with a pickup truck to help. Woodworking problems. Haha. Yeah, I know. I know. I used to have a little Ford Ranger. I had a 7-foot bed, but it wasn't 4 feet wide either. So I had a tonneau cover on there. I used to throw everything on top of the tonneau cover, have it strapped down to the bed on the sides. It's pretty crazy. DK says, oh yeah, a child and one on the way also. That's right. Jamie says, have you a Patreon or considered it? Jamie, great question. As a matter of fact, my wife and I were just talking about it last night. That's another question. If I started a Patreon, do you guys think it would be worth it to move the Shop Talk Tuesdays to the Patreon? Would you guys, this is a serious question. Would you guys be willing to support the channel and go over to a Patreon if I move the Shop Talk Tuesdays over there? Let me know. Susan says, hi, I'm Susan from Newfoundland, Canada. Is it necessary to own a large planer to make a dining epoxy tables? No, it is not necessary. Great question. What you can do is search in your local area for somebody who has a planer that could do something like that, or the second option is to build a router sled, and you can look up online on YouTube how to build a router sled. It's very, very simple. I made a router sled, and you can use a router to plane both sides. So great question. Nathan already got it. Bam, look at that. And he said I would definitely support a Patreon. Hey, Nathan, man, once again, that's another OG right there. I really appreciate that, Nathan. So if you guys look at Nathan here, him and Jennifer both, they've been around since the beginning. And as a matter of fact, Nathan came up with the name Cheapskate Challenge back in the day because the first challenge was like a $50 limit. So appreciate all the encouragement and support, Nathan. Same to you, Jennifer. She says, I'll watch whatever you post. Appreciate that. Troy says, what is a Patreon? So Troy, a Patreon is a website where people can support influencers, and there are different tiers of support. So like you'd pay monthly, like $1 a month to get this item, and that item might be like to see my videos before everybody else, or you could do like $5 here for this tier, and this tier level would be to see the videos first and see Shop Talk Tuesdays. And then the tiers go up from there, and they all have different perks and things like that. So Patreon is just a website where you can support me and our and our woodworking stuff. DK said, I would support a Patreon for you. I find myself rushing home so I don't miss. Oh man, that's awesome. That really makes me feel good. Mel says, I'm not 100% on what a Patreon is, but I'd support your channel. Really appreciate that, Mel. Susan says, what is your favorite resin? Okay, so this is also a twofold question. Susan, I have two favorite epoxies. When it comes to a countertop or tabletop epoxy, uh, Stone Coat Countertops is by far my favorite tabletop epoxy. When it comes to a casting epoxy, my new favorite casting epoxy is Incredible Solutions. I've had great success with them, and so I really like their product. So those are my two favorites as of right now. Michael says, "What's up? Joining in now. Just joining in now. What's up, Michael? Thanks for coming on." William says, "I would sign up for a Patreon." And DK says, "Remember like this." And Troy says, "I'm in." Michael says, "What about Wise Bond?" Now, I have used some of the Wise Bond, like the tabletop stuff. I have not used their slow set epoxy. Michael, have you used Wise Bond? If you have, let me know if it's any good. I would love to try it out as well. Another quick question. I was just thinking about what Nathan said about collaborations. Do you guys have any? Do you guys watch any other smaller woodworking YouTubers that you would suggest a collaboration with? Let me know. I'd be willing to talk to him and check it out. Michael says no, about to. Okay, yeah. Hey, Michael, whenever you do use it, just let me know. Let me know how it goes. And Nathan McCarr says Total Boat ? I do like Total Boat. Yeah, Total Boat is a great epoxy. They're all around really good. Not my favorite, but I would say it's my second favorite. They're really good. Total Boat's good because I'm gonna shout out to Total Boat. They really, if you were to buy a kit from them, they give you the mixing cups, they give you the gloves, the stir sticks, they give you everything. They're pretty awesome. Jay says, "Good View times PewDiePie collab." Yeah, right. PewDiePie does not care about Good View Woodworks. I'm almost 100% sure. Jennifer says, "Total Boat's great with the extras. That's for sure." Susan says, "Have you ever thought about offering 1 or 2 day courses at your shop? We would come to you as a group or individually." Hey, Susan, great question. Yes, I have considered that. We're trying to work out the logistics of that as well. But check this out. We are at Woodcraft in Richmond, and I do a 2 day course there. So if you want to sign up, go to Woodcraft of Richmond, their website. You can search them on Google, and we do classes there. So you can go check me out there as well. So if you're willing to come to Richmond, Virginia, I'd love to have you come learn. Lost Sailor says, "I'm about to order some Incredible Solutions for the second time." That's awesome. That's awesome. How did you like it the first time? David says, "Is there a specific epoxy to use for the seal coat?" So David, great question. Usually I use the tabletop epoxy because that's what I use as a final coat, as the seal coat. But I have been experimenting using the casting epoxy as a seal coat. And what I mean by that is pouring it on and letting it really soak in. Obviously, this takes more time, but you know, that's what I'm kind of working on is the time thing. It takes a lot of time for that to set up, so a couple more days. So I'm just kind of working on the ins and outs of that right now. So great question. Nathan says, "I watched Johnny Builds, Bobby Duke, Burl's Art, and Blacktail." Hey, Nathan, that's awesome. I actually know all those, but I've never heard of Burl's Art. I think I'm going to have to check them out. I like all those guys. Yeah, they're all awesome. David Hoyt hit me up with a super chat. Hey, David, appreciate that, man. Really, really appreciate that. Any support, I'm all for it, obviously. But you guys are awesome. Just really supporting this channel. It means a lot to me. It really does. Robbie Robbins says, "What glue do you use? Type Bond 2 or 3? Something else?" Type bond 2. But if you go on there, you'll be able to see the 2 and the 3. They have different reasons why they have a 2 and a 3, and some depending on like resistance to water and things like that. So I usually go to type bond 2. Nick says, "Have you ever made your own silicone molds?" Yes, I have. The hard part is finding the silicone mold making stuff. So I had a little experiment recently. I didn't video it or anything, but I made my own screwdriver handle just to test the silicone mold process and all that. And the issue is I should have added some fiberglass reinforcement, because even though it's translucent, you wouldn't be able to see the fibers. Fiberglass turns clear when you put epoxy on it. But I had it for a while, but I dropped it and it cracked right in half. So there's a few things that are iffy there, but yeah, silicone molds are great. It's just finding the right amount of silicone, because I want to make something kind of big, but it's hard to find a big amount of the silicone to make a giant mold. Chad says, "Let's say Goodview posted plans on how to make his projects. You pay a set price or whatever to download the plans for yourself and other things. And Patreon helps Nathan afford this easier." Yeah. Hey, Chad, great suggestion. I think I may do that as well. That is something we talked about, my wife and I, before, about a year ago. So I appreciate that suggestion as well, because I'm always looking to see, avenues of making money and all that, whatever. But really, whatever I can help you guys out with, that's what I want to come out and do, because really that's what matters most to me. Chad says, "Sorry for bad spelling, no worries." Nathan says, "I would totally come visit you someday. You're only like 4 to 5 hours away." Yeah, dude, that'd be awesome. That would be awesome. You can come. I'll let you know, man. We'll do like a meet and greet or something at Woodcraft of Richmond, or maybe somewhere close around there, and just have everybody come hang out. That'd be sweet. DK says, "I watched Zach Higgins. He's mainly turning on the lathe, but both of you could come up with one crazy project." You know what? I've been watching his stuff too. That guy's pretty awesome. Lost Sailor says, "Very slow set compared to others I've used, but it's great." Oh yeah, the Incredible Solutions. Yeah. See, very slow set, but I like that because it lets all the air bubbles come out. So yeah. David says, "If using casting, do you still have to apply multiple coats?" Great question. I would say no. If you're using casting epoxy, do you have to apply multiple coats? I would just apply the casting epoxy until it stops soaking it in. Because it takes so long to set up, you can add more and more until it fully soaks it in. And so that would be a no for the casting epoxy. That's why I've been looking into it, but great question. Nick says, "That was my next question, LO. What type of silicone should I get?" I haven't found the perfect stuff yet, but the one I did try was at Michael's. They have like a silicone mold kit, and it comes with just a little bit of it, but I filled up a water bottle with it. So that's what I used. Mel says, "I watched John Malecki, Third Coast Craftsman." I have not seen Third Coast Craftsman, but I do watch John Malecki. That guy's funny. I like watching him too. David Pond says, "I just ordered a reusable mold from P-Town." Was it P-Town Subi? Okay. Yeah, I like the reusable molds. They're great, especially if you're making the same thing over and over again. They're actually, I would say they're almost a necessity if you're making the same thing over and over. David says, "You can charge for plans and then give them free to a level on Patreon." Hey, man, you guys have some great suggestions. Yes, good suggestion. I'm definitely going to be writing that one down. Thanks, David. Jennifer says, "Stonecoat carries mold making stuff now, I think." Yes, they do. I do remember that, but I haven't seen what the quantity is, if I could buy like a gallon of it or whatever. Appreciate that, Jennifer. Jamie says, "Probably Illuminate silicone mold making kit." I'll check them out as well. Hey guys, man, you guys have really been blowing up the chat. I love it. I love it. It's so awesome. I love answering your questions. I love talking to you guys. I love just sitting here chilling. For Shop Talk Tuesday, talking shop. That's kind of like the main deal here. You guys are great. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I'm going to answer a couple more questions, and then I'm going to go hang out with my wife. But man, I really appreciate all you guys commenting, supporting the channel, the super chats. Everybody gave a super chat. Thanks. Really appreciate it. You guys rock. But I'm going to get up off here. Later says, have you ever poured your tables with top side down? Technically, no, but I have liked the other side when I planed it down, and I've used the bottom as the top. So yes, I guess. But I always just pour it, and I see whatever side I like better and use that as the top. So Los Air says, we love you, brother. Love you too. Love you guys too. And Michael says, peace out, man. Love the channel. Guys, like I said, once again, you guys rock. You're awesome. Thank you so much. And you know how I always say, thanks for hanging out with us. But I will hit you up on the flip side. You guys remember to check out on the 3rd of July, which is coming up in a few days. The Cheapskate Challenge will be over. And also, if you guys haven't checked out the community page on a community group on Facebook, check that out. Check out my Instagram at Goodview Woodworks. I post some pictures up there every once in a while as well beforehand, so you guys can get a early scoop on our projects there. Remember, check out all the social medias. But guys, you guys are awesome. And I see David says, one more. Do you have a video of subdued epoxy? I'm not sure what subdued epoxy means. Could you be a little bit more specific? But I will answer your question once we sign off here. But yeah, one more. So Troy says, can I start taking out some bubbles after one day after pouring, or do I have to wait 72 hours? That's a good question. I don't know. I've never done that. But you probably could get some bubbles out while it's still somewhat soft. So anyway, I'm out of here. You guys have a good evening, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for hanging out with us. Good night, guys.